Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm pleased to rise in the House tonight to talk about the benefits of Bill C-18, an act to implement the agreement on trade continuity between Canada and the UK. I'll be splitting my time with the member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan, which is probably the first time I've ever split my time with the member from Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan, and I dare say will likely be the last time. Mr. Speaker, I'm here in two capacities. One as the member for Scarborough-Guildwood, but also as a chair of the Canada-UK Kingdom Interparliamentary Association. So I am interested in all matters pertaining to Canada-UK. Mr. Speaker, all companies stand to benefit from the predictability and stability that this agreement provides. The UK, as I'm sure you're aware, is one of Canada's most important trading partners. The UK is Canada's largest market in Europe, a key source of foreign direct investment, and science and technology partnerships. Two-way partnership between Canada and the UK amount to $29 billion in 2019, making it Canada's fifth largest trading partner after the US, China, Mexico, and Japan. The trade continuity agreement before you today ensures that Canada can sustain and build upon the relationships by preserving the main benefits of CETA, the trade agreements that Canada has entered in place with the European Union in 2017, the benefits of which are just rolling out. Replication of CETA benefits means that 98% of products will continue to enter the UK duty-free, and that includes key exports from Quebec and Ontario, such as manufactured goods, metals, mineral products. As of January 1st, 2024, we're hoping that will increase to 99% goods that will receive duty-free treatment. The Canada-UK TCA also preserves preferential access established under CETA for agricultural and agri-foods into the UK market, further strengthening the Canada-UK bilateral trade relationship. At the same time, this agreement fully protects dairy, poultry, and egg sectors and provides no new incremental market access for cheese or any other supply managed products. The UK is Canada's second largest services trade partner behind only the United States, with services exports totaling nearly $7.1 billion last year. Under the Canada-UK TCA, just as in CETA, service suppliers will have preferential access to and greater transparency in the UK services market, resulting in better, more secure, and predictable market access, such as for environmental services. The terms of investment, the UK is fourth largest in foreign direct investment, valued at $62.3 billion in 2017. Canadians are also key investors, investing in the UK to the tune of $107 billion, making the UK Canada's second largest direct investment destination. As in CETA, the Canada-UK TCA before us today guarantees access for investors to and from Canada with greater certainty, transparency, and protection for their investments while preserving the rights of those governments to legislate and regulate in the public interest. And just as in CETA, the Canada-UK TCA would create more favorable conditions for exporters from Canada and Quebec through important commitments to address non-tariff barriers and establish mechanisms under which Canada and the UK can cooperate to address and seek to resolve non-tariff barriers as they may resolve. While I believe that this House will support this bill, possibly, but not necessarily unanimously, I did want to bring to your attention one element of the negotiations that could be either a unifying point or a sticking point. Most Canadians, Mr. Speaker, will not knowingly purchase goods produced by slaves. Britain has been a world leader when it comes to legislative response to supply chain slavery. In the UK, all major companies are expected to publish a statement on their website saying that they have examined their various supply chains and are satisfied that no element of slavery exists anywhere in their supply chains. This has proved to be a popular initiative with both the public and legislators, and it's likely to undergo some revisions shortly to strengthen the resolve and impose more significant consequences. Inevitably, this will be a point of some negotiation, maybe not in this agreement, but in subsequent negotiations. Britain will likely ask for a commitment to parallel legislation so that the UK is not put at any trading disadvantage. It would be preferable, therefore, that Canada had similar legislation so that there's no discrepancy between the two countries. Currently languishing in the Senate is Bill S-216, formerly my Bill C-423. It's actually stronger than the current British legislation and would be a complete answer for any issue raised by the UK. I've had some very positive conversations with a very able and distinguished British High Commissioner, Susan Lejeune d'Algecic. Regrettably, Mr. Speaker, she's leaving this year. She has represented her country in the last 3 years brilliantly. She expressed great interest in S-216 and was quite willing to support the bill in whatever way possible. Canada imports more than $34 billion worth of goods annually that are tainted by slavery. Everything from garments to shrimps to tomatoes and possibly even some high-tech items. It's a competitive disadvantage if one country is governed by strict legislation and the other is not. Just as Canadian companies and workers cannot compete with slave labor, so also one country can't disadvantage itself in a trade agreement by allowing the scourge of slavery in the other. I would therefore urge the Government of Canada to adopt this legislation sooner rather than later so that any trade irritant can be reduced and Canada and Britain can form a common trade barrier to slave labor. The agreement also carries forward from CETA trade facilitation measures designed to reduce red tape at the border, including some of the prohibitive costs companies from doing business. Diversifying trade has had the potential to increase Canadian wealth. SMEs are looking to us to provide market opportunities for their exports. By ensuring there are accessible opportunities abroad and by maintaining attractive conditions within these markets for SMEs, we are supporting their prosperity and the creation of new jobs in Canada. The Canada-UK TCA furthers this aim. As we look to turn the corner from COVID-19, and Lord knows we can't turn that corner quickly enough, it's even more important that we continue to provide Canadian businesses with as many options and opportunities as possible. The Canada-UK TCA maintains crucial ties and preferential trade terms with one of Canada's key trading partners and ensures that Canadian businesses do not face yet another disruption at this time. Indeed, if this agreement were not in place, this would be yet another setback that businesses can ill afford. Successful trade provides for good employment opportunities, and with 1 in 6 Canadian jobs linked directly to exports, we remain committed to growing trade and providing opportunities for all Canadian SMEs. That's why I encourage all honourable members to support C-18. Your support will help SMEs to continue to succeed in the UK market. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I look forward to questions from colleagues.
Questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Langley Aldergrove.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to my colleague for his enlightening speech on C-18, the Canada-UK trade agreement. I wonder if the member could comment on the inherent advantages in Canada entering into a trade agreement with a country with whom we share a common law and a common parliamentary tradition and common contract negotiating statistics and strategies.
Member for Scarborough-Guildwood.
Thank you for that question. My colleague is a very able and helpful member on the Public Safety Committee, and I particularly appreciate the opportunity to work with him. My view is, Mr. Speaker, that this should be the easiest trade agreement in the world to negotiate. We do share a common language. We do share a common set of laws. We share a common heritage. We share an understanding of the world. We're part of the Five Eyes, and this is just kind of a natural for us. So this should be a relatively easy sign off for our trade officials. I would hope that they do delve into some of the more problematic issues regarding social issues that I think actually could end up being a model trade agreement for the rest of the world.
Questions et commentaires? L'honorable député.
Questions and comments? The member from Bescanogie. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would like to hear what my colleague has to say about the transparency aspect of these negotiations. We heard about the agreement and the virtues of free trade, and that's wonderful. But he must have heard some of the previous speeches from people who said that they worked at committee without tax, without being embarrassed. I imagine there's a certain degree of discomfort in working on a bill without having the text before one. And what about the neglect, of course? This is negligence. This agreement should already be in effect since January. So I'd like to know, ultimately, doesn't he think we should improve the consultation system and process, improve the participation of elected officials at every step of the negotiations? Why not ask Quebec's opinion when we're about to give away some of our products basically on the international market and giving access in any case?
Mr. Speaker? I'm happy to answer that, Mr. Speaker, but I was waiting for you.
Yeah, I did there. I don't know whether my microphone perhaps didn't come on right away, but yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Well, what precipitates this agreement is the Brexit deal. And the Brexit deal only took effect in January. To be talking about a continuing trade agreement in March and actually moving legislation forward is lightning speed in trade terminology. So, and as for the contents of the text, I think the honourable member just simply needs to read the CETA agreement, and he'll have 99.9% of the text, because this is, in fact, a continuing agreement.
Questions and comments? The honourable member for Courtenay Alberni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank my honourable colleague for his speech, but also for his important work with the Parliamentary Association for Canada-UK. Mr. Speaker, he talked about irritants with this trade deal. He heard earlier from my colleague from Nanaimo, Ladysmith, about the 136,000 recipients of the UK state pensioners that live here in Canada, many of them in my riding, where their pensions have been, their annual indexes have been frozen since they arrived, unlike UK pensioners that are living in other countries like the US, Germany, Italy, Barbados, to name some. I mean, pensions are deferred wages, Mr. Speaker. This is theft as far as I'm concerned, and it's a significant irritant. And many of these folks are veterans that served Britain. They've been school teachers, nurses, doctors. And I'm wondering if the member doesn't agree that this should be something that's discussed when we're talking about trade deals, and certainly is his role, his important role in leading our group. And again, I want to thank him for his service.
Member for Scarborough-Guildwood.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank my colleague for that question, because it is an important issue, and it is an irritant. I wouldn't describe it as a trade irritant, but it certainly is an irritant. And there are literally tens of thousands of people who should be entitled to a full pension as opposed to the frozen pensions that they do receive. I encourage the honourable member to be active in the Canada-UK parliamentary group, because this is something that is regularly raised with our British colleagues. At this point, it cannot be said that the British colleagues or government are prepared to engage, and it's pretty hard to make any kind of negotiations or any kind of progress without a dance partner. And we don't have a dance partner, but I agree entirely with the honourable member's observation that this is a gross unfairness on British pensioners.
Resuming debate, the honourable member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.